Hey everyone, so before we get into this video, I want to dedicate it to my grandma. This is actually my 100th upload on this channel, and it just happened to be, you know, pretty much the same time when my grandma passed away. This is very hard to talk about. I'm sorry. She passed away early yesterday morning. Obviously she meant so much to me. And to know my grandma was to love my grandma. She really did love and care for everybody. And even in her final days, she was still in good spirits. She really lived a good life. So, and I just want to say thank you to everyone that sent their condolences. It's much appreciated. So yeah, a moment of silence for my grandma.
Hello everyone. Another accident has happened in California. And once again, the news is telling us that Indians are to blame for all the accidents in the world.
So Mr. Gela is a Chicagoland Trucking CEO that I've mentioned quite a few times on this channel, and at this point, he's pretty much a co-host of this very special show. Now, he actually came out with a video criticizing the news media, trucking, commentary channels, content creators, etc., for pretty much covering certain trucking incidents and truck drivers, but not covering other trucking incidents and truck drivers.
The news is telling us that Indians are to blame for all the accidents in the world. Meanwhile, just a week ago in Georgia, there was an accident with much worse consequences, with far more victims and deaths.
Now, specifically in his latest upload, he pretty much compared the cases of Jansapreet Singh, the truck driver responsible in the California crash that unalived 3 people, and Kane Hammock, the Georgia truck driver that was responsible for unaliving 8 people.
But that one involved an American, a truck driver, and it was the fault of an American citizen, but the news doesn't mention that. As for the Indian driver, unfortunately 3 people died in the accident. All the news talks to us about is immigration. The American killed 8 people and he's already out on bail. These are double standards.
Now, Mr. Gela is actually somebody that, in my opinion, conflates legal immigration with illegal immigration, and he leaves out the fact that Jansapreet Singh was actually here illegally. Now, before I touch on Kane Hammock, I do want to ask you guys this. Don't you think that it's a little concerning that somebody who came into this country illegally is able to get a CDL, that's able to finesse the system, get a trucking job? Meanwhile, and I'll just ask this question to my audience, if you're a truck driver that's also a convicted felon, I want you guys to let me know, honestly, do you find difficulty obtaining employment in the United States? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, addressing his second claim about the lack of media coverage or no media coverage, he said media silence. Now, the media did cover this. Now, perhaps the coverage of Harjinder Singh, Jansapreet Singh, and the other major crashes involving migrant truck drivers, non-domiciled CDL truck drivers that can't speak English, perhaps these trucking stories receive more coverage compared to the Kane Hammock story. I do think the way that the Kane Hammock case is handled out of the state of Georgia is causing even more outrage than the media coverage itself. So let's just take a look at what I mean.
Now, people are trying to figure out, as truck drivers around the country, why is one in jail and the other is free? And should a person's background be determined how justice should be served, or should every case be judged by the same standard?
Let me know in the comments section, do you think that he should have been released on an $83,000 bond, especially when there was 8 lives that have been lost? We've seen other drivers who have not had that chance of being released. And there are people saying that they feel that it's unfair because he is a United States citizen, where we have seen other drivers who haven't killed 8 people and they haven't been released on bond. So let me know in the comment section, what is your thoughts on him being released? Do you think that he should still be in custody, or do you think that he should be released on bond to try to prepare for court?
Now, my question for you guys, do you agree, or do you think that Kane Hammock is actually being treated differently compared to these other truck drivers that get coverage in the media? Now, in my opinion, these cases are similar in the fact that none of these drivers shouldn't have been on the road. In the case of Kane Hammock, he was driving with a suspended license. He had expired tags, expired registration. He was negligent. He was driving distractedly. And despite this, he is only facing 8 misdemeanor charges, not felony charges, because in Georgia, if you are charged with second-degree vehicular homicide or manslaughter, I forget which one it is, you are actually facing misdemeanor charges and not felony charges, and rightfully so. The family is actually calling for these charges to be upgraded to felonies.
To their van on I-85, 3 adults and 5 children died.
I just really disappointed what this police say about him.
Hammock was arrested at the scene and booked into the Jackson County Jail. But the charges, 8 counts of misdemeanor vehicular homicide, left the family stunned. They expected felonies.
I hope I stay in the jail. I hope. It can't get out. It's not only 1 people die. It's it's 5 kids.
Under Georgia law, felony vehicular homicide is usually reserved for cases where a driver is accused of DUI or reckless driving. The case remains under investigation by Georgia State Patrol.
So he may actually get out of prison someday. These families will never get to see their loved ones again. Now, as for why he's able to get out on bail, and Jansapreet Singh, Harjinder Singh, why they're still in custody with no bail, well, like I said, they're both here illegally. Kane Hammock's an American citizen, and that these are both facts. Now, with the case of Harjinder Singh, he's actually a flight risk. He tried to flee the country when the accident in Florida took place. They had to extradite him back to Florida because he was in California trying to go back to India. So he's ineligible for bail. And like I said, multiple times, they're both here illegally. So they both have ICE detainers on them. So even if they were to get bail, wouldn't they just be rearrested and face deportation? So cases of bail are actually pretty complicated when it comes to illegal migrants. Now, these cases with both Harjinder Singh and Jansapreet Singh are among the 5 major cases that were covered by the news media this year involving non-domiciled CDL holders. Now, the Harjinder Singh case especially was significant because it prompted Sean Duffy and the FMCSA to implement the interim final rule.
According to the agency's notice that will be published soon, late September of 2025, in the Federal Register, FMCSA has issued an interim final rule that dramatically tightens the requirements for non-domiciled commercial driver's licenses and commercial learner's permits, and it takes effect immediately upon publication. This is one of the most significant CDL regulatory actions we've seen in recent years, and it's aimed at closing serious loopholes that have allowed some ineligible drivers to get behind the wheel of large trucks and buses.
And Mr. Gela actually called this out. He said that this rule was pretty rushed and it may need to be revised.
The new law about getting a CDL only for citizens and green card holders, plus ICE on the roads. It's unfair, scary, and honestly, I'd say it's just messed up. Let's set aside all emotions and grievances and look at what we actually have left, just the facts. First, the law that was passed on September 29th was written in a single day just to make it before the government shutdown on October 1st. It has a huge number of flaws and contradictions. It will be supplemented and edited. In the law, either by accident or on purpose, the terms legal and illegal immigrant were mixed up. Truck drivers who are in America legally, through the U4U program, TPS, parole, reparole, those who came on a visa, who are legally present in the U.S. and have applied for political asylum and are waiting for that asylum, these are legal immigrants. They haven't broken any laws, and they should be able to obtain and renew their CDL and stay on the road.
Now, Mr. Gela may actually be right, but before I get into that, this rule has been very effective. Truck drivers, especially truck drivers out of Chicagoland that are, part of his company, they're having a hard time renewing their CDLs. There are even people on social media that are giving advice when it comes to medical cards. So let's take a look at that.
Hey friends, this information will be useful for people who have a CDL but don't have a green card or a passport. We all know about the new laws regarding CDLs, what's actually going on, why they're not being renewed or issued, but I want to give you some advice. Despite all this, if your CDL hasn't expired yet and you still have a month or two left, make sure to renew your medical card. That way, if something changes in the future and they start renewing CDLs again, you'll have a valid medical card at that time. A medical card, medical duty exam, is a must. For example, my CDL actually expired, and in September they didn't issue new ones, and of course, they didn't renew it. My medical card expires in the middle of November. So now, in mid-October, I went and renewed my medical card. While I was there, the woman doctor called Springfield right in front of me. So, the main DMV office in Springfield said, yes, he can go ahead and get a medical card, meaning I could renew my medical card even though my CDL had already expired, because, basically, those two things aren't directly connected. These two organizations, the DMV and the medical duty exam, are, roughly speaking, separate. But if your medical card expires and you don't renew it on time, then that's it. You can forget about your CDL. You'll definitely have to retake everything from scratch. I hope you understood what I was trying to explain to you. In Chicago, the cost for this is $100. That is, to go through the medical exam again. Thanks for your attention. Good luck to everyone. Take care.
So, like I said, Mr. Gela may actually be right when he says that this rule was rushed. It came out just before the government shutdown, and because of that, the FMCSA is actually being sued. So plaintiffs are arguing that this rule violates civil rights and due process, especially for DACA recipients, asylum seekers, and legal immigrants that already have work authorization. So there's actually a chance that the courts may rule in favor of the 200,000 non-domiciled truck drivers that are affected by this interim final rule.
Everybody, I think, knows now that the DOT has an emergency rulemaking that wants to kick out 200,000 non-domiciled CDL drivers. But a new lawsuit is seeking to stop that in its tracks. Teachers unions and government workers unions have sued to stop the DOT's new rule, and DOT must respond by Friday. Basically, they say DOT has no evidence. Those 5 deadly crashes you've heard about on the news, from Harjinder Singh, the one in Terrell, Texas, that doesn't mean anything to them. They say that those are 5 crashes out of 5,000.
So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below, because Chicagoland companies like Mr. Gela's are imploding because of this rule. Then you have insurance companies that may not even insure these companies starting next year in 2026. The only time will tell if the courts will rule in these drivers' favor, but we obviously have issues in the trucking industry, whether it is illegal immigrants that got their CDL by finessing the system, or non-domiciled CDL holders likely to be associated with unsafe carriers. Then we have people that drive distractedly, people that don't take care of their health, so they aren't able to obtain a 2-year medical card because that's an issue in trucking. So obviously we have issues in trucking, and trucking is a very dangerous industry. And with winter around the corner, we're going to unfortunately hear about many tragedies, many incidents, accidents in trucking. So one thing that Mr. Gela mentions in his video, something that I agree with, is that it's up to all of us to be safe, be cautious out here on the road.
Dear friends from the FMCSA, we are not solving problems with you. We need to come together and solve these problems. Because all of us, including you, drive on these roads.
So yes, as truck drivers, we absolutely have to do everything we can, because at the end of the day, we all want to go home to our families, minimize distractions, conduct proper and thorough pre-trips, get proper sleep, take care of your health, use your discernment. And with that being said, I appreciate everybody for tuning in to today's episode. Once again, thank you to everybody for your condolences. And you guys are the greatest. You guys are the best audience on the internet. And if you enjoy content like this, hit the like button, comment, rate, share, and subscribe. I am Taja Ellison, and I'll see you next time.